The Secret Diary of an Indoor Cat, discovered, edited and annotated by Julian Assange. Introduction. Towards the end of 2018, the evenings drawing in but the weather still unseasonably mild, my family moved to a new house in West Wickham in the Kent suburbs. The previous owners, a couple with 2 children just like us, had moved to the south coast. It was a large house, rambling and old, quite run down, but we liked it. It had character. There was a large garden with a big oak tree in the middle and mature bushes around the sides. The house backed onto a golf course, and the view from the back of the house extended beyond the fence and the bushes and through the trees to where the golfers swung and putted on the smooth greens. On our first day in the new house, having just moved in, we discovered a safe built into the wall in an upstairs cupboard. We opened the safe with a screwdriver, and inside we found the key and 3 soft-covered notebooks. The notebooks were covered in dark blue card stamped Fabriano, and the pages were high quality, delicate and smooth, and filled with tiny, neat pencil writing and faint paw prints. My son, aged 12, and daughter, aged 15, took the notebooks and sat down amongst the packing cases and the boxes of clothes and started to read. My wife and I left them to it. It kept them out of the way while we unpacked and settled in. The children were soon engrossed in their reading, oblivious to our efforts to get the house organised and prepared. When the children had finished reading, they came to find us. My wife was assembling an IKEA chest of drawers while I was organising our many books. They were both excited about what they had just read and couldn't wait to tell us about it. At first we didn't believe them, but soon my wife and I stopped what we were doing and sat down on the floor with its faded carpet and started to read it ourselves. It was a journal, which appeared to have been written by a cat who had lived in the house and had never been outside. What follows is the journal in its entirety. Monday. I found a notebook in the cupboard and resolved to keep a journal. Don't call me Ishmael. My name is not important. I have no name. Well, I do, actually. They call me Sir Ian, although I don't know why. My name is immaterial. Call me whatever you want. I answer to no name. I'll choose my own name, thank you. I'm not Tiddles or Fluffy or Napoleon or Patch or Socks or Flash or Snoopy or Mog or Larry or Cephar or any one of those other stupid cat names you read about. I am me, but I'm not free. You probably want to know about whose cat I am. Let's get one thing straight. I don't belong to anyone. Property is theft, as Groucho Marx said. True, there is someone who feeds me and changes my toilet, but I didn't choose them. We're not related. My opinion was not sought. I'm not here through choice or free will. I'm a prisoner, but I've committed no crime. I am incarcerated, but I am innocent. I have been sentenced, but there was no trial. I am a captive, but there was no process. This is my own private Guantanamo. Kafka had nothing on me. Free the West Wickham one! Now I know how Julian Assange feels. I don't mean the Australian accent, the funny white Boris Johnson hair, the pale washed-out face, the persecution complex and the delusions of adequacy. No, I mean the incarceration for years in the Ecuadorian embassy because he's too frightened to come out and answer some questions. I'm not in the Ecuadorian embassy, and the Swedes don't wish to interview me on sexual assault allegations. I should be so lucky. At any rate, I don't think they do. Where is Sweden, anyway? Tuesday. This is my world. A nowhere house in a nowhere neighbourhood in a nowhere town. Walls, walls, walls everywhere. My life is walls. Hemmed in, enclosed. Some floors and some ceilings, but they're walls too, in a way, aren't they? Above, below, at the side, what difference does it make? They're all designed to keep me here. The world according to cats. Cat 22. 100 years of cats. Cider with cats. The Catshank Redemption. Catman. Super Cat. The Great Catsby. Moby Cat. That's enough cat puns. Wednesday. I'm not happy with my toilet. I'm forced to use a tray which sits on the landing halfway up the stairs. Why must I perform my private business in public under their prying gaze? They pretend not to look, but I know they do. Why am I not given a private room with a door I can close, and a light I can switch on, and a private basin to clean myself? I'm treated worse than a prisoner. I should complain to the European Court and take refuge in an embassy like my friend Julian Assange, if I could just get out of here. I wonder if he is forced to use a tray in full view of everyone. Later. I've been hearing voices. I feel this is not a good sign. I wouldn't mind so much, but they're talking nonsense. Will it ever end? Today I started 50 Shades of Grey. All cats are grey in the dark. I read that somewhere. It's not true. I'm not grey. I'm sort of black and white. I have white fur under my throat, and my paws are white, mostly. I see other cats outside, and sometimes it's dark, but they're not grey. Some are black or that kind of mottled browny colour, or even ginger. I hate gingers, as everyone does, or should. Sunday. Let me describe myself for you. I have mostly black hair, with a white nose and some white bits around my jaw and the bottom of my paws. I have nice eyes, a sort of grey colour, I think. Well, they are grey. And my ears are well formed, not misshapen, bitten or torn in any way. I'm reasonably good looking, I think, bordering on attractive, without being what you might call conventionally handsome. I think I'm attractive to the opposite sex, i.e. female cats, but I've never actually met one or spoken to one, so it's difficult to say. I may even be attractive to cats of my own gender. Who knows? I'm not a dog, anyway. That is, I'm not literally a dog, of course, but I mean dog in the sense of ugly. I'm not ugly, if you know what I mean. There is one thing I'm a bit self-conscious about, though. I'm fat. And not just fat, obese. And not just obese, morbidly obese. I am, to be honest, grossly overweight. I have an enormous belly like an England football supporter, which hangs down heavily and sometimes brushes the ground when I walk, or waddle. Why? Well, I could say it's in my genes, or that I have big bones like all fat cats say, but it wouldn't be true. Really, there are two main reasons. Firstly, I eat too much, mainly out of boredom, sadness, greed, gluttony, and because they give it to me. And secondly, I don't take any real exercise. How could I? At least prisoners have a yard, an outside to exercise in, whereas I have nothing. Yes, I run around the house and occasionally skid on the shiny floors. I chase bugs or mice and consume them. I sometimes run up the stairs if I'm caught short or I'm frightened. I'm easily frightened. But it's hardly serious exercise, and I also probably spend too much time lying on people's laps or on the carpet. What they call a sedentary lifestyle. The boy did get some weights for Christmas, but I think they're for him. They're too heavy for me anyway. Too weighty, you could say, as indeed I am. I wouldn't say I eat junk food. I eat what I'm given. I don't eat cake or biscuits, not even bourbons, or chocolate, ice cream, sweets of any kind, cheese, butter. Sometimes I get cream. Bread, fast food, pasta, pizza, rice, lard, donuts. Bread. Bread is full of sugar. Did I mention bread? And neither do I drink alcohol, except for the occasional glass of wine. However, I do generally have 4, 5, 6, or sometimes 7 meals a day. I don't ask for it, although I sometimes meow and they think I'm hungry, which I'm not, actually. Occasionally I'm given what is laughably called a cat treat. This is some fishy concoction which is revolting and often sticks in my throat, but they seem so pleased to have bought it for me that I wolf it down, although I often spit it out behind the sofa when no one's looking, or else I pretend to bring up a fur ball, and that comes up with it, luckily, and then they fuss over me because I've been retching. They just like feeding me. Or maybe I'm just a fat cat. But cats aren't very bright, including me. If you give us food, don't be surprised if we eat it. The boy does a lot of exercise. He's into his weights, and he's starting to look pretty fit, with well-defined muscles and a flat stomach and a nice six-pack. But I'm not like that, and I don't do weights, as I said. You won't be surprised to hear that I don't have a six-pack. My belly is more like a wheelbarrow filled with topsoil which someone struggles to push along, and occasionally it overbalances and topples over. That's me, a wheelbarrow. Only my belly doesn't spill out and disappear. It stays there. It is my cross, my own private Idaho. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I'm ashamed and embarrassed and feel a bit guilty. But don't you fat shame me or cat shame me. I'm curvy, well built, and I do have a big bone structure, honest, and it's mostly muscle. Who am I kidding? I'm fat. Saturday. The woman has started doing laughing yoga. Whoever would have thought that would turn out to be a thing? She has a DVD which she puts on, and she wears sweatpants and a bra top, a little too revealing for a woman of her age, if you ask me. And then she prances around trying to do these silly poses. There's one called Downward Dog, of all things, and all the while this eerie cackling. She calls it laughing. I call it scary. Maybe she's having an affair. Tuesday. I'm beginning to wonder if I might be adopted. I don't mean adopted by this mob. I mean adopted originally, if you know what I mean. I never knew my father, but I do remember my mother. But what if she wasn't my real mother? What if I was given to her by a young, disadvantaged, poor single cat who got pregnant by mistake and decided she didn't want to keep me and gave me up for adoption so I would have a better life? And if that is the case, did I have a better life? What if this is as good as it gets, or as good as it was ever going to get, and I didn't realise it, and wandered through this house, trapped, thinking I was worse off when in fact I wasn't? I think that must be it. I was adopted. I'm convinced of it. I'm sure I read somewhere that adopted cats have the right now to seek out their birth mothers, so I might go on one of those genealogy websites and see if I can find out anything. Later. I had a look, and I need to input some information before I can start, and I haven't got it. Name? Syrian, but that's not my real name. Mother's name? Flossie. Father's name? Don't know. Address? Here, obviously. Email address? Don't have one. Nationality? Don't have one. Date of birth? Don't know. Distinguishing marks? Eczema. I pressed enter. A message came back. Not enough data. This could take a while. Friday. Regrets? I have a few, as the song goes. I wish I'd had more sex. Damn it, I wish I'd had sex. Lose your dreams and you may lose your mind. A line from my all-time favourite song, Ruby Tuesday, as performed by Melanie. I lost my dreams, or had them stolen from me, which is almost the same thing, but worse. Dreams of the open air replaced by dreams of nothingness. Sunday. Top 10 places to sleep in this house, in descending order. 1. On the rug in front of the fire, when the fire is lit. I think it's sheepskin, which makes me a little uneasy. I hope it's artificial. 2. On the stone floor in the kitchen, because it has underfloor heating when the heating is on, although the woman moans if she's cooking and I'm in the middle of the floor warming my belly. 3. On the girl's pillow, especially the pink one with the flowers. 4. On the footstool in the living room. 5. On the snuggler, but only if there's no one else there. A snuggler is like a big armchair, or a small sofa, if you prefer. 6. On the carpet by the back door, but only if she is in the garden. 7. In the boy's bedroom below the radiator. 8. On the woman's lap, preferably when she's wearing her dressing gown. 9. On the girl's lap. 10. On the man's pillow, but don't tell him because he doesn't like it. Monday. It's the hope that kills you. Hope and disappointment, regret, anger, irritation, endless sorrow, little life defeats without number, minor inconveniences, imagined slights. It's the chipping away at you, the paint flaking from your soul, the backing away, the climb-downs, the little apologies for when you did nothing wrong, the weeds that grow in the pathways of your mind, the fisherman's nets that trap the unwary, the blind and the too slow, the mortar that falls from bricks, the black spots of damp spreading on the bathroom ceiling, the blackened grout between the tiles. And kidney failure, of course, and cancer, AIDS, heart attacks, pancreatitis, which did for my father, so I'm told, I never knew him. Blood-borne diseases without number, brain tumours, dementia, parasitic bites, syphilis, I should be so lucky, sepsis, liver failure, heart failure, brain failure, total body collapse, epilepsy, ringworm, rabies, jaundice, typhoid, cholera, nerve damage, blocked bowels, peritonitis. They'll kill you too, More expensive maybe, but quicker and with less pain. I can stand dying. I can't stand all the stuff that goes with it. Tuesday. The seasons are pretty meaningless to me here in the house. There is snow on the ground outside, and it gets lighter later and darker earlier. Not that that makes any difference to me. And the central heating is on. It gets stuffy in here. They will complain about the weather. Brrr, it's freezing out, he says when he comes home from work. God, I'm cold, the woman says when she comes back from shopping. Put your coats on, she says to the children when they go out. Have you got your scarf, she says to him when he goes off in the morning. And each of these innocuous, to them, comments hit me in the heart like a kick to the stomach, or heart. I will never know the feel of snow beneath my paws, or taste the damp coldness of icicles, or ruffle my fur in a sharp wind from the north, or the east, or the west, or the south. Slip on icy pavements, buy a shovel and scrape the snow where it lies and blocks the drive. Drift above or below the snow line, skis on my paws, and the glue wine waiting in the late bite bars. I don't really expect them to understand how I feel, and I can't talk, so I can't tell them. I could show them my diary, I suppose, but why should I? It's all I have that tells me I'm me. It's my identity. My journal is my private life. The only one I have. The only one I'll ever have. Thursday. My homage to James Joyce. Pussy, wait for me. Pussy, wait for me. Where are you, pussy? I'm here. I'm waiting for you. I see a mouse, yes. Hiding in the shadows, yes. He knows I'm here, yes. And I've seen him. He moves away. He thinks he's invisible, and he is. But not to me. I shall catch him, yes, I will, and eat him, yes, I will, not because I want to, not because I can, but because I know I can, and I will, and that mouse is mine, and I am his, and we are locked together in some mouse and cat battle. His time is up, as my time will soon be up, but his is first, and I catch him, yes, and take a bite, yes, and he stumbles and falls and slips and slides, but it is too late, and it is cruel, 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 but life is cruel, and his is over, and I have ended it, as mine will end, and sooner than I think. But I will find love, yes, or love will find me, yes, and we will have love, yes, and we will still feel love, yes, and love will be ours, yes, because all is love, yes, and yes it is, yes, and she loves me, yes, yes she does, yes, and again yes, and again yes, and yes. Sunday. I was watching daytime television again. I do that a lot. There was a programme on called Create and Craft, which was about making cards and stuff out of cards and stuff. I thought I'd give it a try. I found some bits about the house. Card, glue, scissors, some glitter, bits of ribbon. A picture of an Edwardian garden which I found in a magazine. And I made a greeting card for the girl. It's her birthday soon. I had some trouble with the scissors. I could get my paws in the handles, but squeezing them together while holding the card in my teeth was not easy. I ended up trimming a bit of my own fur and losing 2 whiskers. As an aside, you might wonder what whiskers are for. They act as sensors and help us to measure gaps. They're very sensitive, as you'll notice if you touch one. I flinch and shake my head. Now you know why. Anyway, I left the card in the girl's room. She won't know that I made it, and I'm not going to tell her. Sometimes it's good to have secrets. If she ever reads this journal, she'll find out, but that's unlikely to happen. But I'm not sure I'll make another one. I wonder if Julian Assange has shapes and scissors and glitter and fluff and makes cards for his friends. He must have plenty of time on his hands, as I do. Perhaps I should make a card for him, or perhaps not. Let me describe my toilet. On a landing, halfway up the stairs, there is a plastic mat with a picture of a rather ugly cat on it. On the mat is a blue plastic tray about 2 feet by 1 foot. The base of the tray is covered in newspaper, usually The Guardian or The Telegraph, but sometimes, and always on a Sunday, the Sunday Times. On the newspaper, in a layer about 1 inch deep, there are some white crystals. I squat upon the crystals and do my business. After I've finished, I do a lot of scrabbling around as I try to cover my turds with the crystals. I do my best, but to be honest, it doesn't really work, and I wonder why I bother. What usually happens is that the crystals end up all over the floor, and it's an unholy mess. You could say it looks like shit, pardon my language, diary, and you'd be right. The crystals are supposed to absorb the smell, but they don't really work, and so the smell of my shit, permeates the house. Not straight away, but about 15 minutes after I have performed, the smell of me floats around the house like a dirty ghost, and everyone wrinkles their nose and curses that dirty cat. How am I the dirty one? They placed it there, in full view of everyone going up and down the stairs, so what did they expect? These people are fools, and what is more, they are unhygienic fools who have no one to blame but themselves. If they let me go outside, I would defecate, I like that word, in or on the ground, having first scraped a suitable shallow grave like a murder victim in the dark forest, and then I would cover it with dirt and no one would be the wiser until they started digging for their spring bulbs. But no, I am not allowed out. I am the cat of Monte Cristo, the cat in the iron mask. Friday. There is a leak in the downstairs toilet. There is water on the floor. Either that or the boy is missing the toilet again. Compared to these slobs, I am an exceptionally clean cat. I wish they'd fix the leak. I don't like living in a house that is not up to scratch. Saturday. I have been left alone for the weekend. They left just after breakfast, loaded up the car with bags and stuff and checked the windows and made sure the taps were off. They're obsessed with taps, these people. They were fussing in case I got out. Keep the door shut, they kept on saying. Don't let the cat out. That's what I am to them, the cat. They left 2 trays for my toilet and some food, and a funny machine with a timer on it where the lid opens in the afternoon and there's food. They think they're so clever. I worked out how it works ages ago. I can open it any time. But why should I? Why should I reveal my secrets? When they had left, I settled down on the sofa. After a while I went upstairs and slept for a while on the girl's pillow. Then I slept on the boy's duvet, and then I went downstairs again and slept on the other sofa. Then I fancied some exercise, so I scratched some furniture and then ran around a bit, and then I was tired, so I went to sleep again. When I woke up I was starving, so I opened the funny machine and had something to eat. Then I watched Netflix and chilled. A quiet day, all in all. Monday. There is talk of getting a dog. Can you believe it, diary? They actually sat around last night after they got back, the 4 of them, in the living room with the telly off, for once, although I'd been watching it, which was annoying, and had a conversation about a dog. Over my dead body, is what I say. Although I have never met a dog, or been close to one, if I'm honest. I've seen them on TV. That Paul O'Grady character is always doing programmes about them and going weak at the knees over them for some reason. But I'm damned if I can see the attraction. Kids, the man said. He always calls them kids, although they have names, I'm sure. Should we get a dog? And the girl said, and I could have kissed her, what will Sir Ian think? And the boy said, and I could have whacked him, who cares what Sir Ian thinks? And the woman said, which surprised me a bit, I care. I tried to attract their attention by running around in ever-decreasing circles trying to bite my tail, which usually works, but they just said I was having a funny 5 minutes and ignored me. If they get a dog, I'm leaving, if I can, which I can't. Watch this space. Tuesday. The seasons change outside, but they don't change in here. Sometimes I see snow on the ground, or clouds in the sky, or it rains, or hails, or it's dry and the sun shines and it's hot. But in here it's all the same. If it's cold, they put the heating on, and if it's hot, they open the window. Not enough for me to get out, but do I want to? Sometimes I'm not sure. Where would I go? I don't know anyone. I've never been anywhere. Maybe this is where God means for me to be, to live out my days. I'll be the eyes and ears of the creator of the universe, but believe me, he'll not learn much from me. Wednesday. Have I told you about the people who live here? The people who think they own me? I don't think I have. Here goes. There's a man, a woman, and 2 children, a boy and a girl. What, you want more? The man has a beard, and so has the woman. Joke. The boy is about 10, and the girl is about 14. They have names, but I don't care what they are, so why should you? They seem nice, in their own way, and they feed me, so I suppose I should be grateful. Later. There's another cat in my garden, or maybe 2, or 3, or 4. They look at me through the window and mock me. They know I can't scare them off. I can only glare at them through the glass. One is all black, like a rugby player, but skinny and weedy. I could take him in a fight. One is black and white, pretty in a rather obvious kind of way. There are two Burmans. Think they're so posh and hoity-toity with their shiny soft fur and their imitation Siamese grins. Brother and sister, I suspect, or they could even be married. I see them all the time. They have made my garden their stomping ground. My garden! I tell you, where's the justice? The sights you see when you haven't got your gun. I read that somewhere. I watch them today, chasing squirrels and trying to catch birds. Sometimes they're lucky, and they'll slink away into the undergrowth, bits of bloodied bird hanging from their cheating jaws, and have a little party, swapping bones and beaks and bits of bird, without me, knowing full well I should be there. It's my garden. But is it, though? I can see it. It's part of this house, but I've never set foot in it. Never defecated in the flower beds, never eviscerated a bird on the lawn, rolled in the damp autumn leaves, pissed among the alpines, rolled and tumbled in the brown dry grass of a baking summer's day. So why begrudge it to them who can enjoy what I will never have? But I do begrudge it. I'm like the dog in a manger, only I'm a cat. But the principle is the same, and the story means the same. One day, when I break out or dig my tunnel, or they leave the door open a fraction and I make a run for it, all my worldly belongings, i.e. nothing, in a knapsack on my back, I'll find them, and then there will be a day of reckoning like you've never seen. Scorched earth policy for my garden, just you all wait, bloody Burmans. Thursday. I'm afraid of spiders. I'll eat them, but I'm afraid of them. They're snide, stealthy, sneaky, silent, deadly, some of them. There's not much nutritional value in them. I eat them because that's what cats do. I eat flies too, butterflies, but I've never had one. Bugs of all sorts, dragonflies. I like chasing them, letting them think they've escaped and then swatting them. Are you offended? Shocked? Don't be. Cats are cruel. That's what we do. Cats are the only animals apart from humans that kill for pleasure. I read that somewhere. It's true, too. I'll kill for pleasure. Whatever turns you on, as they say. But I don't eat wasps. Well, I'd kill one if I thought I could get away with it. Friday. Today I licked my bottom. It's a hobby, and boy do I need a hobby. I gave up on the create and craft stuff. God, that was boring. I lick my bottom quite a lot, if I'm honest. I'm a very clean cat, although I don't just do it to be clean. I'm worried about Europe, and I'm worried about us. What will happen if this Brexit nonsense goes ahead? I'll be okay. It doesn't really affect cats much, as far as I can tell. But a lot of people are going to be worse off. What happens if my family are in that position? I don't want there to be any reduction in my rations, although God knows it wouldn't be a bad thing. Saturday. There's been no post for 2 days. Sunday. I want an Apple Watch. The man has one on his scrawny wrist and the girl wants one for her birthday. You might say to yourself, why does a cat need an Apple Watch? Well, why does anyone? You answer me that. Monday. I'm bored with my diet. They've bought me a fake mouse. Do they think I'm stupid? It looks a little bit like a mouse, except that it's round and has a little motor in it, and it's not real, obviously. It chunters along the floor, and I'm supposed to chase it and play with it and pretend it's real. Give me strength. I shall have to go along with it for a bit, I suppose, but if I see a real mouse loose about the house, I shall capture it, and then they'll see the difference. Tuesday. Every morning they do the vacuum cleaning. Usually her, occasionally him. The children, hardly ever. Out of the cupboard it comes. Henry, that black and red machine with the coiled hose like a python. She plugs it in and drags the brush over the carpet. I have to run and hide and cover my ears with my paws to try and drown the sound. Sometimes I fancy a lion to sleep for 19 hours in each day instead of my usual 18. But no, those minute flecks of dust must be hoovered up. It doesn't matter how early they have to get up or get out of the house. She has to have her vacuum cleaning done. I swear to God that woman has OCD like you wouldn't believe. Friday. I'm going to the vet. They haven't told me, but I can guess. They have the basket ready. They've hidden it and think that I don't know, but I do. I'm not stupid, you know, or blind. I'll play around for a bit, hide under the bed, jump on a wardrobe, go behind the sofa. I don't have to, but it's sport for me, and it annoys them. There's not much left for me, so I might as well have some sport. "Come here, darling," they say, in that irritating, whiny, babyish way of theirs, as if that makes a difference. Later. It was the vet. I was right, as I knew I would be. The vet had cold hands and stuck that thermometer up my arse. Arse. Not a nice word, is it? But it will do, and you know what I mean. She just lifted up my tail without so much as a "by your leave" and shoved it in. Oh, the indignity. Mind you, it felt nice for a bit. Then I had an injection. I don't know what it was. They didn't tell me, and I couldn't read the label on the bottle. The needle hurt a bit, but I'll get over it. "This is just going to be a little prick," said the vet. They always make that joke, and I get so sick of it. Saturday. I share my home with hangers-on, bugs, things that go dump in the night, flies and bees and occasional wasps, which I hate, by the way, as you know, and chuggy pigs and tiny silvery slithery things that leave a trail of slime near the back door as they desperately make a dash for it before I catch them, and even more when I've swallowed them. They taste a bit like oysters. Not that I've ever tried an oyster. Later. This afternoon I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yes, I know it's an old film, but I was flicking through the channels and it came on. I don't know much about space, as you can imagine, having lived most of my life in a house in West Wickham, never seeing the world outside. Have I told you that? Boy, do those first 20 minutes go on. The apes seemed quite lifelike to me, although I've never seen a real one. I assume they were actors in suits, although they jumped around like apes and made grunting ape noises, which got a bit wearing after a while. And then one picks up a bone and they start fighting, and one of the apes kills an animal with it. Was it a tapir? I'm not sure. I suppose it could have been an actor in a tapir suit, but it was certainly good acting. I sat, or to be more accurate, sort of slouched in that cat way on the sofa while watching, and had a good lick of my private parts while it played. Anyway, surely that bone would break, wouldn't it? Because they're quite brittle bones. I thought it was clever when it flew up in the air and turned into a spaceship. This is how humans imagined space and the universe back in 1968. Well, how Kubrick imagined it, anyway. Cats see things differently, and we have more experience. Humans think the universe is designed for them. I have news for you guys. It wasn't. And no, it wasn't designed for cats. I'm not that cat-centric. There is order in the universe. It follows immutable laws of physics and chemistry and biology and so forth. But within that, it's random. Things don't happen for a reason. They happen because they happen. And the big black monolith? Give me strength. That isn't the key to the universe. Read on, and maybe you'll learn what it is. Maybe I'll share it with you. And then again, maybe I won't. However, there are scenes in the film that were breathtaking. It is filming of the highest order. And the way Kubrick marries his images with Strauss and the other bits of classical music was wonderful. But the ending doesn't work. The last 20 minutes I thought I was going to have a fit. All those flashing images and the swirling colours. It's like someone bought a computer and discovered a graphics program having dropped some acid, which is probably what did happen, and then spent hours gazing at the screen in wonder, thinking they'd found God. But the scene where Keir Dullea crawls into Hal's brain and starts removing bits of memory, and Hal gradually loses awareness and consciousness and fades away and then starts singing, "Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do." Is that what death is like, I wonder? Your memory fades away and then you start singing about bicycles and then it all fades to black? I could live with that type of dying. So, boring, fab, decent, fab, boring, fab, rubbish. That's my review. My private parts tasted good, though, and then I had some fish. You've been listening to episode 1 of The Secret Diary of an Indoor Cat, discovered, edited and annotated by Julian Hutchings. If you'd like to read the book as opposed to listen to it, you can find it on Amazon and buy it as a paperback or download it to your Kindle. And make sure you listen out for episode 2. Thanks for listening.